The stickman starts out smiling, fantasizing about his perfect life in retirement. He sees himself in flip-flops, lying in a hammock by the beach, with a gentle breeze swaying his legs as he smiles at a blue horizon. In his head, he already plans how many trips he will make around the world. Imagine the classic photo in front of the Eiffel Tower, the rides on cruises full of concerts, the endless barbecues with friends, loud music and laughter. This dream seems so real that he almost smells the burning coal and the sound of the sea hitting the sand. All this because, for years, they repeated like a mantra, work, contribute, do your part. And in the end, the government will take care of you. It seems simple, it seems fair, it seems safe. The stickman believes this as a child believes in Santa Claus, but that blind trust begins to unravel in slow motion. The scene changes abruptly. Instead of the sunny beach, the stickman appears in a gigantic line with dozens of people just like him. Tired and discouraged, all holding a crumpled password, he looks at the paper and realizes that it is just another number lost in the system. The smile disappears. The service is cold, bureaucratic, almost mechanical, and what he receives in exchange for his entire life of work is a benefit that does not pay even half of his basic bills. The contrast is cruel. The dream of freedom, that well-deserved rest, turns into a disguised prison. He discovers that he has no control over anything and that his life now depends on an amount that barely covers the light, food, and medicine for the month. The retirement that seemed like a prize reveals itself as the beginning of a labyrinth with no way out, no map, and no hope. In the brilliant TV commercials, in the pompous speeches of politicians, in suits, and even in the colorful booklets they distributed in banks and public offices, they always repeated the same promise. Retirement would guarantee a dignified life, a fair rest after decades of sweat and sacrifice. They showed images of couples walking hand in hand on paradisiacal beaches, smiling as if they had found the secret of eternal happiness. Everything seemed so beautiful, so convincing, that the stickman believed it without hesitation. After all, it was what they had always said: trust the system, work hard, and the future will be guaranteed. But in practice, the shock is devastating. The stickman realizes that this freedom never comes. Instead of traveling the world, he's in the supermarket, standing in front of the rice shelf, counting coins in the palm of his hand to see if he can get 2 packages. Instead of enjoying the time with leisure and tranquility, he spends hours in front of a calculator, deciding whether to buy the medicine that the doctor prescribed or pay the overdue electricity bill. The dream of a light old age becomes a routine of cruel choices. Each bill that arrives is like a pair of invisible handcuffs. The stickman feels trapped, suffocated, and each increase in the price of food is another tightening of these chains. That freedom sold with so much marketing was never more than a well-staged theater. When he opens his retirement statement, reality crushes him. The amount he receives barely covers survival. It is at this moment that he understands that the promise was never liberation. It was just another form of prison, polished with beautiful speeches, but built to keep him always dependent. The scene becomes almost a tragic comedy, one of those that you don't know whether to laugh or cry. The stickman throws himself on the couch, tired, and turns on the TV, hoping to find a little distraction. But what appears on the screen are smiling politicians, well-rehearsed, with memorized speeches announcing reforms in retirement. Each of them speaks as if they are bringing good news, colorful graphics, beautiful words like advancement, modernization, and sustainability. The audience in the audience, carefully selected, claps enthusiastically, but for the stickman, each word has another meaning. Advancement means working more years, modernization means receiving less in the end. Sustainability means that it will sustain the system, but the system will not sustain it. He starts laughing, but not with joy. It's that nervous laugh of someone who has already realized that he is trapped in a circus of absurdities. It looks like a poorly done magic show where the trick is always the same. Pull rights out of the hat and present cuts as prizes. The political advertisement shines on the screen as if it were a spectacle full of smiles, jingles, and ready-made phrases, while the real life of the stickman runs down the drain. And with each new promise, he understands more clearly. It's not bad luck, it's not carelessness, it's not bad luck. It is a system that was never made to deliver what it promised, and then the question remains, will you continue to watch this spectacle of illusion, or will you open your eyes now? If you also don't want to be fooled by empty promises and want to truly reflect on your financial freedom, subscribe to the channel. Here, we dismantle the illusions, show the backstage, and expose what is really behind the beautiful advertisements. After all, understanding the game is the first step to not being the next victim of it. In the stickman's head, that perfect image of the hammock on the beach disappears like smoke in the wind. The radiant sun disappears, the blue sea goes out, and in its place appears an old sofa sunken by time with springs bouncing out. Instead of cool breezes and tranquility, what appears is an overdue energy bill on the table with a red immediate cutoff warning. The dream of a quiet life is not even born. He dies before he begins, crushed by the weight of reality. And the cruelest thing of all is to realize that the stickman never had control over this process. For decades, he contributed religiously, believing in the rules of the game, but when the time comes to enjoy it, he discovers that the government always changes the rules in the middle of the match. The minimum age increases, the contribution time extends, the values decrease, and the account never closes. It's like rowing a leaky boat. No matter how hard he tries, the bottom is always sinking. Retirement, which seemed like a certain destination, turns out to be just an empty promise. What they sold as well-deserved rest becomes a nightmare of anxiety, living in fear of missing the next month, of not being able to pay for the essentials, of depending on family members or luck. Security becomes uncertainty. Peace turns into anguish. And now I want to know from you, have you ever felt that promises about retirement seem more like illusions than guarantees? Do you still believe that you can trust this system, or have you noticed the cracks in it? Comment below on your vision. Your opinion can open the eyes of many people who are still trapped in this illusion. Here the stickman finally sees the hard truth, without filters, without colorful advertisements, without speeches full of promises. He realizes that public retirement is not a prize, it is not a reward, it is not gratitude for a lifetime's effort. In fact, it's like a mandatory subscription to a flawed service, a contract you can never choose not to sign. For decades, he paid month after month, believing he was building a secure future. But when the time comes to enjoy, the shock is cruel. What you receive in return barely covers basic needs. It's like paying for that expensive streaming that always promises incredible news, but never has the movie you want to see. The difference is that in this case, you cannot cancel, you're stuck, with no option to get out, no chance to complain. And the worst thing is to look around and realize that you are not alone in this abyss. Thousands, millions of other stickmen are in exactly the same situation, complaining, mumbling, suffering, but all stuck in the same system that sucks them in silently. The stickman finally understands that it's not just about low numbers on the statement, it's about dependency, about living without alternatives. It's like being in a collective prison where everyone is serving the same sentence, waiting for the government to take care of the future. At that moment, he realizes the truth that no one likes to hear. Trusting 100% in public retirement is accepting to be a lifelong subscriber to financial hell, paying dearly to live with less than he deserves, and without the right to cancel the contract. The stickman is now at rock bottom. He has tried to believe, he has tried to adapt, he has tried to convince himself that maybe we can live with less, but the reality is too harsh to be ignored. The money simply no longer covers even the most basic needs. Each month, the account does not close. We see scenes of him sitting at the table, dividing a pack of medicines in half, trying to save pills that should be taken daily. The plate of food shrinks, less rice, less meat, less variety. Even the simple act of visiting family members becomes impossible because the bus ticket weighs more than it fits in your pocket. What was sold as security for old age has turned into a trap. The promise that should be a relief, a cushion of tranquility, has become a huge weight that only pulls him lower and lower. He realizes that he has no way to escape because when you rely only on the government, the fall is not only likely, it is inevitable. The stickman looks around and sees thousands living the same scene repeated. Elderly people who have worked their whole lives and now count pennies to survive. And the big revelation comes like a punch. The system has never been about securing your peace. It was never about rewarding your dedication. It's always been about keeping you dependent, trapped, controlled, believing in a contract that was never meant to work in your favor. Rock bottom is no accident, it's the destination plan for those who trust without question. And this is where the stickman faces the big decision. He is standing in the middle of a scenario divided into two paths. On one side, colorful signs with beautiful promises of the government, security, tranquility, well-deserved rest, all broken, fallen to the ground, covered in dust. On the other side, a simple, narrow path, but with a sign written in firm letters. Take control? The stickman looks to one side and the other, indecisive, feeling the weight of all the lies he has believed so far. The narrator asks the direct question, almost as a challenge to the viewer. Are you going to keep waiting for the government to take care of your future? Or will he take over now and build his own freedom? The stickman, tired, looks at the camera as if looking into the eyes of those watching. He holds up a makeshift sign made of cardboard, which reads in large letters, "The choice is yours." The image freezes at this moment, making the message clear: relying only on government retirement is not worth it. The future is not a gift that someone delivers ready-made. It is a consequence of the choices made today. The scene darkens, and the narrator adds, "You can continue to believe in promises, or it can start to change now." And before the video ends, the final call comes in. If you want to understand even more how to get out of this trap and open your eyes to what no one tells you, don't leave here. There's already a video popping up on your screen that will show you the next step. Click now and continue this journey. Your future begins with this decision.